for the polished concrete, self-levelers, micro toppings. It's an awesome state-of-the-art facility, and you got some of the best in the industry that's going to train you and get you hands-on experience. Anyways, today we're going to be doing a metallic floor. I've talked them off of the white floor because white is very difficult to work with. You have to do multiple coats, you know what I'm saying, to get the depth that people are looking for. And besides doing multiple coats, it's going to show dirt. If you're wearing black sneakers, if you're wearing black soled shoes, it's going to scuff. Epoxy will scuff no matter what color you put down, okay? And the best way to get those scuffs out are with the little, they have the white Mr. Clean, it's a little scrub pad that you use, it takes it off right away. Anyways, I'm going to turn this rest of the video over to Robert. He's going to take you through what we're doing, and we're going to do a silver and charcoal metallic floor here.
75% silver, 25% charcoal. It's a whole house, and as Chris said before, it's all continuous. So we're going to go from room to room, through bathrooms, around the kitchen. So we want to have enough personnel on site that we're going to be able to lay down the product, and we're going to have mixing people, and we're going to have somebody who's going to bring us buckets. So you want to be prepared when you're doing something like this. That's a big point for success.
Yeah, so we have right now 3 days of prep into this floor.
Correct.
You want to tell them about what's going on here with the prep?
Well, as Chris said, this was already an epoxy floor, so really what we needed to do is create what we call a mechanical bond. So we sanded the floor down. We then went around and fixed any of the imperfections that were here. We did that with some patch material, which is also epoxy based. We went ahead and we've prepared our walls. We've put up some tape and protection around the rest of the house. And you just want to make sure that when you're putting down epoxy, it splashes, it's not going to come off. It will not come off a lot of surfaces. So taking a little extra time in the beginning to do your prep is a really big, important part of a successful job. Okay? So what we'll do now, we've got our guys who are pre-mixed several buckets of material out in our mixing station, and we can show you that a little bit later so you get an idea of what it takes. We've got our assignments laid out for each of the workers here, and we'll get started.
Awesome. Okay. Well, let's go. Let's have some fun.
Here we're at our mixing station. We've protected the floor. This is the front walkway, so of course you want your client's entrance to be kept clean. We put down some plastic. You see we went way past where we're actually working. We put some cardboard on top because when you're stepping out with your spikes, you don't want to puncture that plastic. So that's a good little tip. You want to also make sure that you get your threshold, and we'll look at that in a little bit. But what we have here in front of us, we've pre-mixed our kits. We're working with 100% clear epoxy, 100% solids, and we have 2 parts A, 1 part B. And into each one of those 2 parts, we've put one of these containers, and these are the color packs. They're 16 ounces each. We mixed 1 into each container, and we've already pre-mixed those. So we've set ourselves up so that we could work efficiently here. Now we've got our B part, and as soon as we're actually physically ready to start, we're just going to let the guy know, and he's going to start mixing the B, and that's going to start our chemical reaction, and the clock will start working for us. So that's why you want to be organized here. We've got 2 guys here from our crew. We've got Howard Benbow and Thomas Fan. Say hi, guys.
How you doing?
All right, and they're going to be mixing. So really critical. These guys are good at what they're doing because we have to be critical when we're mixing. All of the measurements are important. So you definitely want to make sure you don't use the wrong chemical in the bucket. You don't want 3 parts A. Nothing's going to happen. You don't want half of a bucket of B because we're going to have a problem that we're not going to know about until tomorrow when the floor doesn't dry and it's sticky. So when you're mixing, there's nothing visible that can tell you you've mixed it wrong. It's only about being accurate, and that's why we have these guys here. So we're going to let them get started mixing, and we're going to put our spikes on, and we're going to get inside and start putting the floor down.
Make sure you scrape around the side.
You have 30 seconds right now. Phone or on your wrist, and make sure you get an accurate amount. This is a 90-second stir. We're hand stirring this, okay? We're keeping out the air. full circles now, Thomas.
Great.
There we go. You're doing good now. Keep going.
Let's get it, baby. Rock and roll. Let me have it.
All right, this one's good. Let's start the next. Okay, we have 40 minutes for this here, so you just...
Okay, we're gonna get ready to actually pour our product on the floor. Again, we're working with silver metallic here. And one of the things I believe key to success when you're working with a metallic product is a good build. So you wanna put it down thick, or a thick millage. Everything in coatings is based on mill thickness. So we're gonna be working with about 40 square feet per gallon, which is about 40 mils, okay? It's gonna be a nice thick build. And what that's gonna do, it's gonna level out nicely because this product is self-leveling. It's going to find its own level and it's going to take the metallics and they're gonna separate down to the bottom and then the clear coat's gonna come to the top and we're gonna have a beautiful finish when we're done. So this floor is gonna receive about 60 gallons of material, which is a lot of material, but to get a good job specifically with metallic product, that's the way you want to do it. So we gotta get this out of the bucket. Are you close there, John?
Yeah.
I'm starting. So what we're doing here, we're applying the product. We're using a notch squeegee. The notch squeegee has 3/16" grooves in it. That's going to help spread our material. We've previously laid out the rooms so that we know where each bucket will cover. So we know that a bucket's going to cover, again, 40 square feet per gallon, 120 square feet per kit. So we've laid that out, and now we know with the room size, how far to pull this product. So once we start putting this down, with the notch squeegee, you do see all of these marks in the floor, but the beauty of the product, self-leveling, it's going to fill in. So we're going to have a nice, seamless, glass-like floor based on the volume, and then we're going to have a beautiful design because we're going to add two colors. We're going with silver metallic, and we're going with charcoal. So we have our coverage correct, we've got our equipment correct, and with those two things, we should have a successful job. And the rest of the house, and you know the square, the square?
Yes.
So this is the silver sill. One of the things about working with epoxy, when you mix it up, it's a chemical reaction, and the chemical reaction happens between the part A and part B. But one of the things you need to know is that you got to get this material out of the bucket because it will start to set faster inside that bucket than actually laying down on the floor. So we do have a long working time with this product, relevant to some of the other products on the market. This is about 40 minutes, which is a good amount of time. So it gives you some time to lay out to be neat about it. It gives you some time to get a design in there, but you do have to be organized and you have to be able to move along. So don't be fooled by a long working time. I'm gonna have to get into this bathroom.
Huh?
I'm not gonna have to get into that bathroom in a minute.
No problem, you gotta go, I'm gonna pull out here.
I got a
Small
Should
one.
also tell them on there, make sure they keep the gauge where you got a, gauge rate, it's not squeegee.
All right, so we're continuing the process of putting down our silver metallic. But one of the things I want to just note is that when you're mixing epoxy, air is a problem, okay? So what happens is air bubbles get trapped in the epoxy mix and they then later start to break afterwards, okay? So what you want to try and do is eliminate that by your mixing method. And what we're doing is we're using stir sticks. We're not using a drill and introducing a lot of air, but we are thoroughly mixing each component first, and then we're mixing them all together. And we're doing this only with a stir stick. That's going to help minimize air bubbles in the finished product.
All right, this one here's about ready to light up too.
Yeah, we can put them out, put them out, put them out. So we've come back here and what we've done is mixed up our charcoal and we're putting it on top of this silver metallic. And we're just literally freeform, we're blending it in on top. There's no right or wrong way to do this part. It's really all about artistic effect based on the chemical. So once this actually levels out again, we're gonna have a beautiful effect with a blended charcoal on top of silver metallic. And if you look closely, you'll see these lines from the notch trowel, but they're all gonna disappear because the product is self-leveling. So we're gonna have a beautiful, high gloss, finished floor when we're done. So, Chris, this is the effect, right?
Yeah.
You want to do that? So Patrick, grab some of this video and I'll just say like where we on?
Hey, we're on.
Okay, so guys, when you're working in a house, obviously there's lots of obstacles. This is nothing just a square box. So in this unique situation, we have a set of open stairs that we have to navigate and try and get under. So again, time is a critical issue. You can't spend a lot of time, but you got to prepare for things like this, being able to get into this space and covering it completely. So you might have to be a little bit of a contortionist, or you might have to have some smaller tools, but you got to be prepared to get all of the nooks and crannies covered with the epoxy.
You want silver here?
Thanks. Yeah, go from, no. Go this way, right up to the door. We're going to continue on that way. And now we're going to go, so we're continuing with our silver metallic epoxy floor job. And what I want you guys to know is that this is only one of the finishes you can accomplish with epoxy. Sorry for my back, but I gotta keep moving. But what we're going to do, we're going to have a school designed specifically for learning how to apply epoxy. We're going to be calling that the Epoxy Training Center, starting February 13th of 2017. And we're going to learn not only this technique of the metallic epoxies, but we're going to talk about the flake system, which a lot of people are familiar with for garages. You get that product a lot of times at the big box stores. There's another product which is great for around pool decks, that's called quartz, also used with the epoxy system. One of our favorites and signatures is the glitter epoxy. And glitter epoxy is absolutely stunning when you get lights on it, and it's perfect for restaurants, it's perfect for salons or nightclubs. So it really is going to make your decor pop. So these are just some of the things you're going to learn over at ETC. I'd love to see you there, and that's it.
Now we're doing tomorrow, he said. So we're doing tomorrow.
What is that? What does he say all the time, Dr.? He said, it's righteous.
It's righteous.
There's a lot of factors to consider. And temperature, you should be somewhere between 50 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit. If you're lower, it's going to take a lot longer to cure. If you're a lot hotter, it's going to set up a little too fast for you. So again, you want to be paying attention to a lot of details when you're doing the epoxy, and temperature is a big one. So if you do have air conditioned area, you want to make sure that you can regulate the area. You don't want it too cold. So typically 72 degrees is about the right temperature. I think you'll find that for pretty much any kind of a coating or paint. Like we're doing tap dancing in here. Of course, we're working with spiked shoes. These spiked shoes are great because they're easy on and easy off. But it's essential that when you're working with epoxy, you have a good clean pair. Try not to cross them with the same spike shoes you might use with a cement overlay, because you start to drop off some of that residual cement and you can ruin your finish. Putting down our metallic epoxy, I just want to show you like a little trick. So if you're running your notch squeegee on the floor and you're just dragging it around, you're going to be one look. But if I start picking it up and I create lines, those lines can be effective if that's a look that you're trying to achieve. And again, since it's self-leveling, they're going to kind of disappear and meld into the epoxy. But it's different ways to create different finishes. It's not just about the product, it's about what you do with the product. But one of the things when you start lifting your notch squeegee up and down, up and down, up and down, we could start putting air bubbles into it. And again, air bubbles are not friendly when we're working with metallics, really none of the epoxies. So I just want to let you know that through manipulation of your notch squeegee, your tools, also chemicals, you can create different effects with the metallics. Huh? How's that red coming? How's that red highlight coming? You gotta start to move forward because your spikes are.
We are at the mixing station. Doing final mixes, making sure nothing sticks to the sides of the buckets. It's a minute and a half mix. It's all hand mixed for 50 seconds. We got another 40.
Man,
He hands you all the charcoal?
It's all. It's a silver charcoal.
It's going over there.
It's all the same.
It's all going together.
Memphis, the answer Robert loves to hear.
You can see how thick we've poured this floor, guys. We poured this floor at between 30 and 40 feet per gallon.
Little bit of Italian sausage, some Dago red, it's cold tonight, Russ, forget about it.